Hello and welcome to Garden Priya channel. It's rose season and these three roses always catch my attention. One survived a hurricane, one feels almost magical with how its colors keep shifting, and one is very fragrant and has roots in the 19th century France. Let me show you why I love growing them here in my Zone 8A garden. This is Peggy Martin rose and it has one of the most incredible backstories. During Hurricane Katrina, this rose was completely submerged in salt water for days. Almost everything else in the garden was lost, but this one made it. And not only did it survive, it came back and bloomed. That's why it's become such a symbol of resilience. I planted mine about 10 years ago, when I honestly didn't know much about growing roses at all. I didn't fertilize it, I barely paid attention to it, but it kept coming back every year and blooming. My yard gets only about 3 to 4 hours of sun, so most of it is partial shade. This rose was the one that gave me confidence that I could grow roses here. Peggy is a tall, vigorous climber, and it's a once bloomer with very few thorns and excellent disease resistance. I've never sprayed it once. In spring, it's covered in soft pink semi-double blooms that form large clusters. Honestly, just a couple of clusters are enough for a simple bouquet. I cut 2 clusters, paired them with the Japanese maple leaves for contrast, and voila, there is a simple bouquet, perfect for a kitchen counter. It just makes the space feel a little happier. The next rose is Ghislaine de Féligonde. It's also pronounced as Ghislaine de Féligonde. This one is an old garden rose from France and it has very soft, airy presence in the garden. It produces a lot of small blooms in clusters with a graceful arching habit. What I love most about this rose is how the color changes. The buds start out deeper apricot, then open to softer apricot tones, fade to creamy yellow and eventually become almost white. So at any given time, you see multiple colors on the plant, and that's what makes it feel almost magical. Some people call this rose a rambler because of its arching habit and clustered blooms, while others consider it as a climber since it repeat blooms through the season. It can grow up to 10 feet tall and blooms in flushes all through the year. And finally, this is Zephirine Drouhin, and it's one of those classic old garden roses that's been grown since 1800s in France. It produces rich pink, very full blooms with strong classic rose fragrance, one of the most noticeable scents in my garden. The blooms are borne on short canes close to the stem. What makes it especially interesting is that it's almost thornless, which is rare for a climbing rose like this. That makes it very easy to train along a fence or arbor. I have linked a video by Rose Geek on how to train climbing roses in the description box below. Zephirine is a repeat bloomer. So instead of one big flush, it keeps coming back in waves through the season. In many ways, it feels like the perfect combination of old garden beauty and modern ease. I planted Zephirine around the same time as Peggy Martin. I didn't fertilize it at first either. And while it survived, it didn't really bloom until I started feeding it. Now it's the first rose to bloom in my garden every year. So these 3 roses couldn't be more different. But that's why I love growing them together. Together, they've made my Zone 8A garden feel resilient, beautiful and full of history. For care, I keep things simple. Apply rose stone and water with fish emulsion when I can. Thank you for watching.